Hi everyone, this is Miata here. I wanted to talk about a conversation that I recently had with one of my friends just this Tuesday. He's dealing with a heartbreak of his own making. He broke up with his girlfriend a couple of months ago and is still kind of dealing with the fallout of that, the brokenheartedness, the retracing his decision and actions and wondering what it was about him or about the relationship that didn't quite work out. He reached out to me because I had gone through a very public breakup and seemed to have walked out of it unscathed without bashing anyone. And if you know anything about the social media landscape of our generation, it is a very vile and a very tit for tat. If you hurt me, I'm going to lash out and hurt you type of society and environment. And he wanted to know, how did I come out the other side of it and dealing with it in the midst of it with such grace and dignity. And I told him so many of us are dealing with the same thing. We're trying to figure out how to navigate friendships and relationships in the 21st century where there is this social media overload of timelines and time apps and Facebook and checking in and photos and all these different things. And for all of our advancement and knowledge, we're still trying to figure out how to relate to each other well, how to deal with grief, how to deal with loss, how to deal with misunderstanding, how to deal with brokenness. N.T. Wright said in one of our lessons previously that relationships can be a signpost. It's almost like when you're running out of gas and your car gas signal pops up on the dashboard and does a little ding and the signal lights up. It signifies that there's something else going on, that something is needed. And I think sometimes when we experience brokenness and relational pain and grief, those can act as a signpost to point us towards a greater need. That we're looking for significance, we're looking for authenticity, we're looking for connectedness. I have experienced my fair share of relational pain, whether it was from the loss of my father to my breakup with a significant other. I think it's a part of life, but it doesn't have to be a deathly blow. We can have the scar that reminds us of the experience, devoid of the pain and the broken memory. We were made for relationship, and I think that's what the signpost of brokenness and loss really points to. We were made for relationship. In Genesis, when God created the world and man, he said it is not good for man to be alone. Relationship. It is that primary relationship between a man and a woman that created the building block of society, the family. They walked with God. They talked with each other naked and unashamed. They had no need to cover up who they truly were, their wants, their needs, their sense of humor, and etc., because there was no shame and there was no misunderstanding. Unfortunately, with the fall of man, there was more that was broken than just our relationship with God. But what was distorted and destroyed was our relationship with each other and our relationship with the world around us. All of a sudden, what was introduced into the world was shame, was strife, was jealousy, was brokenness. And we've been striving to return to that oneness and that wholeness ever since. The need to be known, to walk with our God, to be unashamed, to be naked, to not cover up who we truly are, but to be accepted in who we really are. Well, something that was really cool is in the last couple of weeks, I've been reading some articles. Our pastor has been doing a series called Emotional Health. And something that he brought up, and I've seen echoed in a lot of those articles, is there's 3 things that everybody's looking for: competence, authenticity, and connectedness. We all want to know that we are good at what we do and that we're making an impact on the world. 2, we're looking for authenticity. Can I truly be myself, and is my true self accepted in the world around me? unashamed, naked. And 3, connectedness. Am I connected to others in a vital and life-giving way? Am I in a community? Do I have relationships with people that are not just virtual, but are actually real life, life-giving relationships where there's a back and forth, there's a tug of war. And sometimes when we experience brokenness, we experience relational discomfort and misunderstandings. It's really that there's a deep longing in each and every one of our hearts and the soul to be connected, to be known, to be accepted, to find significance, and to find a place of belonging with somebody else, that we're fully known, we're fully understood, and that we're not ashamed to be known, and it's not a bad thing to be who we are. So I think in my conversation with my friend, I would definitely say that. I'd say that, you know what, it's not wrong to long for relationship, because it actually is something that God placed in our hearts. We were built to be in a relationship. And if we look at even God himself, he's in a relationship with himself, with Jesus, with the Holy Spirit, that there is a life-giving, honoring relationship that is even had within the Godhead. And it's something that is planted in the heart of every man, to want that, to be connected to something bigger than themselves, but to be connected in a vital and life-giving way to another person, another group of people. And yeah, it stinks. Being broken sucks. Going through relational issues sucks, but it means that there's more. We weren't made for brokenness. We weren't made to stay in that place. But there's a wholeness, and there is a connectedness that we've been called to, that we've been created for. And so I just thank God that sometimes that those things pop up in our life to make us ask the question of ourselves: am I connected to God in a life-giving relationship? Am I connected to others in a community that breeds life? Can I be authentic with the people that I am in community with? Can I be authentic in my relationship with God? That it's not always going to be perfect, but I can come to those people and to God with my full self, not holding anything back. And that's exactly what those broken relationships and misunderstandings point to. It points to relationship with God and how it really is supposed to be, and how it was in the beginning with God and Adam and Eve with each other. So there's so many. This is definitely a place that a lot of people in my generation, and not just in my generation, but all humanity deals with the brokenness of relationship, and it hurts. But it is a signpost to point us to what we were really created for, and how God created us, and what is built into our nature, that we were built for connection, to be in relationship with God, and to be in right relationship with each other. All right, friends, such an amazing topic. I've talked about it a million times with so many different friends, how to navigate relationships well, how to be in romantic relationships and even friend relationships where we can navigate conflict in healthy and real ways, and not back away from each other, but continue to engage in loving and truthful manners. So something we'll always struggle with, but I'm so grateful that there is a light and there's a way. It points us straight to Christ. Okay, bye guys.